Alright, so we got a fun little list video today. We're going to be taking a look at all of the high tier disaster level dragon monsters. We're just going to be ranking them. And there's about 8 of these monsters that I personally feel among the disaster level dragon that are in the high tier, or what we consider high dragons. And I also feel like the majority of people in the community, you know, the consensus, agree with me more or less on who these individuals are. But ranking them is a whole other thing. It's super subjective, and I found that it was kind of difficult to accurately do this, or at least come up with a list that I feel most people would agree with me on. So you're probably going to have differing opinions to my own. But in order to even talk about this stuff, I'm going to have to go into webcomic spoiler territory. Sorry about that, but if you don't want to know what's going to happen, suggest you check out now. So first, let's go into some honorable mentions. So Vaccine Man, he's not going to be on this list because I feel like Vaccine Man isn't exactly a definitive high dragon. So the data book definitely states him to be a dragon, and I feel at the minimum he is a mid-level dragon. There's no doubt that he's powerful. He has his light sphere abilities, which are very powerful. He has the ability of flight, which is super significant. But aside from that, we don't really know what his speed is like. We don't really know what his durability is like. We don't know what he would do against an S-class hero. So he doesn't really have feats on his side. But he does have the transformation. But it's also stated that it's to conserve energy, so I feel like it's probably just a mode shift, putting him to more like a physical, like attacking mode, rather than him just using his light sphere. So he probably stays a mid-dragon in that form. But he's also not able to take a single punch from Saitama, which we know is indicative of power of these dragons, the high dragons specifically, and more so their durability. But he's not really falling into that high category. And let me also state that taking a punch from Saitama doesn't mean that you're not a high dragon. But I just don't feel like Vaccine Man has enough feats or just overall implication of his power to make him a definitive high dragon. If you feel that he is, that's fine. I just don't think he should probably be on this list. So next up, we have Pre-Woke Garo, or more specifically, the Garo that fought Darkshine and Golden S. So, no doubt, an objective high dragon in my opinion, but he is a half monster, and in this video we're just going to be taking a look at the monsters. So, I'm probably going to make another video where we just take a look at all of the high tier disaster level dragons, you know, heroes, monsters, and everything in between at another time, but for now, Garo will just be here. And then finally, Golden S. So you might have been thinking, oh well, I was just going to put him as number 1 in this video, and normally you would be right, but I think Golden S might be a little too powerful for this list, because I don't feel that everyone unanimously agrees that he is just simply a high dragon. Some people seem to think that he might even be above dragon, and I kind of lean towards that myself. So I'm not entirely sure, but I just don't feel that he is a definitive high dragon as to where we should put him on this list, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Another moniker that is being used for Golden S, more popularly like a year or 2 years ago, was he was the highest dragon, or a peak dragon, like the strongest dragon before going into like above dragon, Orochi, Boros territory. But I feel like he could possibly be up there, but due to him not having like a definitive level to him, at least not that we can all agree on yet, you know, because we haven't seen his feats in the manga yet. But until then, I'm just going to leave him here because he might be too powerful for this list, like I said. Alright, so now let's go into the actual list, and I'm going to be going from weakest to strongest, and who is just overall the best monster, who brings the best overall package, not who can hit the hardest or who can fire the strongest beam or who has the single best ability, just overall who is the best. So keep that in mind. So we're going to be starting off with Beefcake. So yeah, Beefcake in my opinion definitely a high dragon just from his power output alone, but that's all he kind of really has going for him. He's not really that intelligent, and I really think that's hindering him here. He's very big, and that is beneficial in some ways, but it's also making him a gigantic target. And he is able to hit fast, especially for his size, but if we're comparing it to the speed of the other monsters on this list, he's not really that fast. So I definitely feel that he should be on this list, but I don't think that he should be any higher up than at the bottom of it. Next up, we have PHOENX Man, specifically in his Brilliant Eagle form, and I think he's definitely a high dragon. I mean, he is pretty much broken. He has so many abilities. I mean, he's super fast, as we've seen. He has ultra sharp claws. He's just as strong as any of the other high dragons. I mean, we saw his performance against Brave Giant. He, one-handed, he was able to stop that beam lance from him, rip his arm off. That also showed his speed at the same time. He has 8 eyes of vision. He can friggin' fly. He has the ability to absorb energy. Just flapping his wings can cause like a firestorm. He could shoot individual feathers from his wings. And of course, the cherry on top is that he could just resurrect the dead. And it doesn't seem like there's a cap on this ability, because we saw that he was able to resurrect dragon level monsters in Hellfire and Gale. So Phoenix Man, the only thing that's really holding him back here is I don't think that he would compete as well against the stronger S-Class heroes, at least as well as the other monsters on this list. So it's just that, but if you feel that he is higher up on this list, I completely understand. He was the one that I found most difficult to rank here. So next up, Carnage Kabuto, and I'm putting him here because of what I was talking about with the matchup against the other S-Class heroes. So Carnage Kabuto, as we saw just from his feats against Saitama, that he is no joke. Ultra fast, ultra powerful. Just in his base form, he one-shots Genos. Even in the VGS, G4 Genos, who is very powerful, was still defeated easily by Carnage Kabuto. I think like 50 times in a row or something like that. But also, I know for sure, or at least we can assume for sure, that Carnage Kabuto is definitely a high dragon, and one of the stronger ones because of his feats in the VGS. So Metal Bat wasn't even able to last 3 minutes against him, but most importantly, he was pushing Darkshine to his full absolute power for 15 minutes. Any being, monster, hero, whatever, that is capable of pushing Darkshine that far is for sure a high dragon, and one of the most powerful ones at that. Next, I've got Goketsu. So I hold Goketsu in a pretty high regard. I feel like probably higher than most people, and I understand if you don't, but I think the implications and the feats of Goketsu really solidify him as one of the strongest high dragons. Because, first of all, he's a master martial artist, which is very significant in the world of One Punch Man, because it seems like if you have skill, or just a better understanding of fighting in general than your opponent, you have a severe advantage over them. I mean, we've seen it with Garo, we've seen it with Bang, and it appears, also Suiryu, can't forget about him, and it appears that Goketsu is definitely on the level of them, maybe not even so higher than most of them. Just one single punch from him took out that gigantic portion of the stadium. He just played with S-Class heroes like Genos and Suiryu, made a fellow dragon level monster, granted he was a low dragon, in Bakuzan, just crap his pants in fear. Just from the power shown by Goketsu, him just throwing punches and kicks causes shockwaves in the city, and he's ultra fast as well. Especially considering how big he is, he moves very fast, as we saw his speed feat against Suiryu. But he's unable to take more than one punch from Saitama, so that's kind of holding him back here, but still. So next up, we got Elder Centipede. So Elder Centipede is also kind of hard to rank on this list, but I feel like he should be here. I feel like he's definitely overall above the other guys that we've talked about so far. I mean, just his size and his durability, as well as his feats against accomplished heroes, is pretty telling of that. Metal Bat couldn't do anything. Genos giving it his all with crazy feats couldn't really do anything. And of course, Bang and Bomb working together couldn't really do much either. Even if you crack his carapace, he's just gonna laugh and molt back. In fact, the only heroes who were able to take down Elder Centipede were the two implied strongest. Of course, Saitama and friggin' Blast. But other than that, it doesn't seem like much was able to be done against him. So next up, we got the good boy, Overgrown Rover. So yeah, you might be thinking that they should have been a little higher up. And I do feel that he is definitely one of the strongest high dragons, one of just the strongest monsters in general, but I just don't feel that he's quite at the top here. And I feel that the new updated sequence with Saitama punching him kind of hinders it just a little bit, because now it seems like there wasn't a lot of killing intent behind the punch that Saitama gave him, which kind of hinders that feat, which was one of the biggest indicators, or just one of the reasons why we held him in such high regard, because we didn't really know what went into Saitama punching him. We kind of just saw it happen, and we were like, oh, wow, Rover survived the punch from Saitama, so he's definitely one of the strongest monsters. And I think that kind of changes a little now. It doesn't change his other feats. How pre-woke Garo, you know, the one that went against Orochi, wasn't able to do anything against him. Full powered strike, he just literally shook it off. His durability, I'm sure, will stay the same when he goes against Bang and Bomb, when he takes their Cross-Fang Dragon Slayer fist, even after being weakened by Saitama. I don't think that's going to change. So he's still at the very top of durability, and his insane spamming of the plasma heat fire blast things that he does is almost unrivaled in that department, honestly. It's just like a buffed up Homeless Emperor more than anything, but maybe Overgrown Rover just needs to come back just a little bit for now. So next up, and this is going to be who I consider the second strongest High Dragon, and that's Evil Natural Water. So yeah, he's pretty much unfair. He's just sentient water. I guess that's just a bad matchup for everyone, you know? And he's also able to pull moisture from the air, and that's how he regenerates, grows bigger. That's like kind of broken, right? I'm just, because there's always water in the air, so he's always at an advantage over his opponent. Also, he legitimately took a punch from Saitama. Like I was talking about with Rover, it's debatable the intent that Saitama had behind that punch, but I don't think there's any question with Evil Natural Water. He wasn't sympathizing with him, and I don't think he will in the future once the manga reaches it. He took the punch and he survived. One of very few beings capable of doing this. Regardless of how he wound up, you know, in his little water heart form, he still seemed to be even pretty powerful in that form. But if we just go into his abilities, you know, the water jet stream things, which essentially could pierce anything, I guess, nearly anything, and they're so fast that Child Emperor says that they can't be perceived by the human eye, which is just ultra unfair. And we know that he could transform even using the moisture from the air. Like, he becomes like this dragon type form. And by the time he fights Saitama, he's so big that he's like almost like a skyscraper or something. Like, easily one of the strongest monsters we have ever seen in the series, and we likely will probably ever see. I mean, his abilities, like, they're broken. It's almost unfair for anyone to go against this guy, because we saw that really no S-Class hero did well against him. I mean, Tatsumaki was able to, like, blow him away, but that didn't really do much because he just came back even bigger and better. And then finally, at number one, who I think the best and strongest High Dragon is Black S. I mean, come on, guys. He has the best ability. He can't be killed, more or less. I mean, you have to vaporize this guy to take him out, and that is easier said than done. So if you just hack him up, he's going to keep multiplying. And I'm pretty sure that he can just multiply on his own free will if he wants to. He also can just manipulate parts of his body, become gigantic if he wants to, has like a huge fist that he can hit you with. Or if he just wants to play the long game, he can just break down and just overwhelm you with clones of himself. And all of these clones are individually super powerful on their own, because we saw just one of them could wreck Atomic Samurai, made him cough up blood and everything. It's just, he's almost a bad matchup for everyone, just like how Evil Natural Water was. But he has intelligence and sentience on his side. And then, of course, we can't forget that he can merge into stronger versions of himself, such as Multi-S, and then Golden S. This is an ability of Black S. We can't forget about that. While Golden S is his own individual person, it starts with Black S, even initially having the ability to do this. I really do feel like Black S is the strongest of the High Dragons, at least definitively. Because, you know, like I was saying, the other guys that I talked about in the honorable mentions, it's debatable if they are definitive High Dragons, but I feel like Black S is for sure that. And I mean, come on, he's got to be number one here. He seems to be the best of the abilities, the overall package that he brings. No one has really done well against him, you know, that wasn't already ultra powerful. Like, the only characters who have been able to disintegrate him is the new updated version of his fight against Atomic Samurai, but that was very short-lived and it didn't really work out for him regardless. And then the pre-woke Garo, after his fight with Darkshine, who was strong enough to fight against Golden S. He was able to disintegrate him, but aside from that, no one was really able to overcome Black S. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, and like I said, very subjective. You might have differing opinions from me, and that's fine, but just let me know how you would rank these guys in the comments. I'm sure everyone's going to have a debate about this, but let's just keep it civilized. But I do hope that you enjoyed the video. I just hope it was a little fun thing that we can all talk about. And if you liked it, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.